So this is the dishwasher we're going to be installing. It's a Kitchenaid. So the first thing after getting it unboxed is get all of the parts out of it. Set them somewhere. I've got mine on top of these other appliances. But set them somewhere in a safe spot. And we're going to take this dishwasher and lay it down on its back. I've got a piece of cardboard there just to keep everything from getting scratched, the floor, keeping everything protected as we do all this. We're going to put this thing on its back. So this is the area right here where we're going to be installing the dishwasher. There's the space for it right there to the right of the kitchen sink. So the first thing I'm going to do before I get into anything with actually installing the dishwasher is I'm going to come down here underneath of the sink and I'm going to drill a hole about 2 inches in diameter right back in here and tighten this back corner all the way back. And that's going to be for the drain line and the water line from the dishwasher to come over through the cabinet and tie in to the hot feed right here. And then the drain line is going to come over and tie into a garbage disposal. So I do that first just before getting anything in the way, get that hole drilled. That way it's already there and ready to go. So the next thing you're going to want to do is look up underneath of the countertop in the space where the dishwasher is going to go and see if when they installed the countertop, they put this bracket in right here, and then there's these 2 screws that are in there. You're going to want to go ahead and take those screws out and put them in a spot where you're not going to lose them while you're doing the install, because if you don't take those out now, you're not going to be able to get them out after the dishwasher is pushed in there. So go ahead and take a second, take those out now and keep them safe somewhere so you don't lose them. All right, we got it on its back. And again, with any of these appliances, especially dishwashers like this, they're going to be brand specific. A lot of these things do hook up the same way, but again, take the time and read the instructions before getting into this, especially the first couple of times as you're familiarizing yourself with the installation. But the next thing we're going to do on this one is after it's laid down, we've got these 2 screws that hold on this cover plate. We're going to take those off. So I have the cover plate off, and then I'm going to take this piece of insulation out, and I'm going to put all this stuff off to the side and keep it in order of the way I took it off so I don't lose track of how it goes on there. Next thing we're going to do is hook up the water line, which goes right here, and then the drain line, which goes on the back. Let's get the water line hooked on first. This dishwasher has a little plate that goes under this part right here that comes off. We're going to pop this off of here. Just let it hang there just for a second while we get the water line hooked up. It goes right here. Most dishwashers now come with a connection like this, that it's almost like a hose connection on a garden hose. So that'll thread onto this blue part. But first we've got to put this end on the supply line that's going to go underneath the kitchen sink from that hole that we drilled. So we're going to put this on here. I'm going to get this thing tight as I can by hand, and then I'm going to get a wrench on it, give it a 1/4 to a 1/2 turn, about like that. And we're going to take this, get it connected right here. That thing started. You're going to want to aim this supply line toward the back of the dishwasher, because that's going to go back through this channel, back through here under the dishwasher and over into the cabinet through that hole. So get this thing tightened up. Get as tight as you can by hand. And then we'll take the channel locks. Get it pretty nice and snug. There. And of course, we'll check it for leaks after everything is installed. Then we'll go ahead and put this clip back on, this little plate. Slides in there. And there's the water line. So take the drain hose that comes with the dishwasher. It's got 2 ends on it. The end that looks like this, again, this is for this particular Kitchenaid dishwasher, is the part that connects to the dishwasher itself. The other end will go underneath the sink, connect to the garbage disposal. But you can see here, this piece right here is the drain for the dishwasher where this piece needs to connect. Now in the bag that comes with this dishwasher, there's two clamps that look like this. One is a red color and then this is the silver color. Definitely look at your instructions, but the silver color is the one that goes on this drain right here. So I'm going to take a pair of channel locks, put this on the hose, and then push this on there, and then put the clamp up and over. So let's do that next. All right, so I do have the clamp on there. You can see it right here. Now I'm just going to take this and push this onto the drain fitting there. Get it all the way up till it stops. We're going to have to get this clamp pinched again and put up over. You can see these two ridges right here. That's where the clamp has to sit. This can be a little bit tricky, just trying to get those things pinched in a way till you can get that in the right spot. But there you go, right there. And there's the drain line. Another thing you're going to probably want to do while this thing is laying on its back is take a look at the legs that it has on it. It has the 4 black legs on it. Now those things actually screw out so you can adjust them depending on how high you need the dishwasher to be. I would go ahead and make sure that all of those move now while it's sitting on its back, because if you get that in place and you need to reach your hand back in there and adjust those and they're just stuck in place, it's going to be pretty hard to adjust them. So go ahead and make sure they're adjustable now that it's laying down. Now that we have the drain hose and the water line connected, I'm going to get it back on its feet and I'm going to take it over and put it in front of the space that it's going to be slid back into. So I have it back over here in front of the space that it's going. Here is probably where you're going to want to take a few measurements and measure from the floor up to the bottom of that bracket just to see how much clearance you're going to have. Now you can see here with that insulation on there, I'm not going to have much, and those legs are already up, keeping it as low as it's going to. So I'm probably not going to make any adjustments right now. But if you get to a point where you measure to the bottom of the bracket from the floor and then to the top of your dishwasher and you have a lot of space where you know you're going to need to take the legs up a little bit, you can go ahead and do that now and then make any fine adjustments after it's pushed back. Now you can see back there that hole that we drilled in the back of the cabinet to have access to bring the drain and the water line in underneath of the sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the water line right there and the drain line and start feeding them back into that hole and start slowly pushing the dishwasher back and then getting underneath of the kitchen sink and pulling a little bit, making sure that they're going at the same speed so one of them doesn't get kinked. All in the while of keeping the electrical line for the electrician coming up underneath of the dishwasher as well. So a lot happens on this stage. You just got to take your time and make sure it all goes smoothly. So you can see here where I have the drain line and the water line coming through the hole, and then I've got it slowly starting to go back. So again, you got to take your time, push a little bit, and then come over here and adjust this. And as you're pushing this thing back, also make sure and don't remove this insulation. It comes with it is to keep the dishwasher quiet and keep some of the heat inside of it. So it's easy to want to take that thing off of there because these things can be a little bit of a pain to push back. Make sure and leave that on there. So I get it pushed back to about here where I've got this much distance. And if you see here, there's 2 little slits right in the front of each side of this dishwasher. And then you have these clips that look like this. They have these little tabs in the back. So what you do is you pick one of those 2 spots, put that in there just like that. I'm going to put this one here. And then let me move the camera just a minute. You can see at the back of these things, they have a little place where you can take a pair of needle nose pliers and bend that guy up so that doesn't come out. And I'm going to do the same thing. So it's that little piece right here, that little hook. Once that goes in there, You need to take a pair of needle nose and just bend that up. And that just allows it so it doesn't come out. Those are the brackets that those two small screws we took out go through and hold that so it doesn't tip over. So now we'll finish pushing it back and getting it installed. So the dishwasher is pushed back in place. I took a level and put on it along the top right there and along the front, got it leveled out, adjusted the legs as I needed to get it nice and level. And then the drain line and the water line are over here ready to be hooked up. And the next thing we're going to do is open the dishwasher up, and we're going to find two holes in the bracket there and take those screws that we took out and get it secured to that. Okay, so underneath the sink, I've got a stop valve right here, an angle stop, especially for the dishwasher tie-in. So I'm going to get this supply line that we ran through there, get started, get it on there hand tight, and then take the wrench, a nice quarter to a half turn. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and turn that on since I know it's tied in on both sides. That way I know it's pressured up. And while I finish everything else, I can be watching it for leaking. That gives it just more time to keep an eye on it, to check and make sure it's good. As far as the drain goes, you can see the drain comes in through the hole. Now we want to take this up as high as we can underneath of this sink, just to keep it in case there is ever any kind of a backup in this garbage disposal or any kind of drain that you have. You want to keep this up high so if there is any backup, it doesn't go through the dishwasher drain and go into the dishwasher. So if this was really low like this, okay, and this was just going this in right here without a high air brake in there, which is what that's called. If it was like this and there was a backup or things were overflowing, things would go back into the dishwasher. So we need to get this drain hose up really high in the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to secure it over in this side over here with probably a Talon, and that way it keeps it up high all the time. So we're going to get this dishwasher connected to the drain on the disposal. But if you remember, there's a plug in here that we need to take out. Just comes with this just in case there's not going to be a dishwasher hooked up to it. So I need to knock that out first. Now how I do this, typically on this, is I'll take a flat blade screwdriver and push it over to one side of these and just lightly tap it on both sides, and then there, it just pops out and it goes into the dishwasher, or excuse me, it goes into the disposal. You just have to reach your hand down in there and make sure and get that out, because if not, it's going to bind up when someone turns it on. But pull that out, and now we're able to hook up the drain. So this little guy is that stopper right there. So I just grabbed it out of the disposal so you could see it, but always make sure and pull that out. And then we're going to go ahead and hook this drain up. And push it all the way on here. And then that other red clamp that comes with the dishwasher is what you can put here. A lot of times people will get a hose clamp and put on here instead of this, which I'm a fan of that too. And there you go. So as far as securing that drain hose, like I said, I'll usually grab a 3/4 Talon like this and take the nail out and put a screw in it. Then I'm just going to put that around that back in there and secure it to the back of the cabinet. And there is our connections under the sink for the dishwasher. And then last but not least, I went ahead and put the handle on. This handle comes with 2 set screws underneath, and it came with a wrench to tighten it down. Electrician got this thing wired up, and we are testing it now. And then once everything tests out, I'll put that kick plate back on. But there's the installation of a dishwasher.